Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of Realm News. I am your host, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in Realm and expands your mind one block at a time. I hope you all have been having a great week so far. Today, I have another very exciting episode to present to you all. We are talking about bundles. Yes, bundles of Bravery to be precise. This is the latest major drop to come into Minecraft, and I just could not wait any longer to make it an episode. I have been playing with the bundles a lot since they've dropped, and I will tell you all about my experience with them today. Hint, I love them. Also, I will tell you how to make them and how they function along with the history behind them. In the real segment of the show, I will be linking the bundle with Otzi the Iceman. Allow me to explain why I'm linking this to an Iceman. He happens to be carrying the oldest known bundle or pouch on him. That was found in the icy Alps alongside his corpse. My second corpse to be on Realm News, so you will not want to miss that today. That will all come right after I read you a brand new poll. It has to do with the spyglass. So whenever you're ready, let's get this show started. It's poll time! It is poll time, my friends. A new week, a new poll. And this is a fun one. It must have been a good one too, because this received 109 votes. I love having this turnout. The question that garnered this amount of votes is this: do you use the spyglass? Simple question, but it is a question over an item that is often overlooked in Minecraft. Some people claim it to be a useless object, while others have found it of great use. This week on Poll Time, I'm going to read off the comments I have received before I read off the results to you. I thought it'd be interesting to switch it up a wee bit. I would like to begin with an individual who goes by the handle Nubtails. They say, quote, "For decor and getting the related advancements, but for zooming, I usually have a zoom mod which is way more useful / convenient," end quote. Now, this is something that I can relate to. Not the mods at all, but using the spyglass for decor in your builds. Now, that is something I do. I have just recently built my first palace, and I thought it was time to start living a lavish lifestyle after almost 2 years of kingdom building. Don't you agree? Well, after completing an 8-room and ever-growing palace, it was time to deck it out with the finest items and blocks found in the game. A wall of emeralds and diamonds in the bedroom, cake in every room, Zetterstrand paintings adorning the walls, gold blocks, suits of iron armor, gold pressure plates, copper doors, and spyglasses. I have 3 spyglasses in my palace, 1 in my personal chamber, and 2 which hang in item frames in the 2 guest bedrooms. I enjoy how they bring a sense of adventure, wonder, and intellect into a room, and they serve a practical purpose for my guests. They can use them to view the random sand islands that dot the surrounding ocean and to look at the city down below. So I enjoy the spyglass for decor very much. As for the zoom in and out modification, that sounds fun and very convenient. I have never used a mod before, but if I did use them, this would surely be one of them. Thank you, Nubtails, for that comment. Our next commenter is Reddit is Best Anime, who says, quote, "Very rarely, so rarely that I can just say no. It's very limited and has those stupid glass streaks. I usually use zoom mods for that," end quote. So we can count that one for the no group, I would say. But they have truth in this statement when they mention its limitation and glass streaks. One could argue those glass streaks add a bit of realism to the scope lens, as if it is a sun glare coming through, but it does decrease visibility and can be a nuisance to some people. The limitation is that it can only zoom in on objects that are already in view. I wish that it could zoom outside of our render view, but I can see how that would mess with game mechanics. But who knows, perhaps one day they will enhance its zooming capabilities. However, the spyglass is not impractical, not by any means. As I had stated in the Amethyst episode, I almost said Geode, in the Amethyst episode, I will use spyglass to zoom in on pillager outposts and look at the surrounding landscape around that outpost to see if there are any natural or geographical areas to make an offensive attack. Also, it is useful to know where the illagers are all located before attacking a pillager outpost. I'll admit, I have only used the spyglass a couple of times for this said purpose. Now moving on. Let me present to you the last commenter for today, who also uses the spyglass for practical purposes. Their name is Xenoceptor. Quote, I build roads, bridges, and tunnels, and I use spyglass. I survey with maps and bring mapping stuff out into the wilderness. First, I go by boat because of speed and visibility. Then I walk through my proposed route. Spyglass saves me some walking. Can spot villages and other landmarks easier. End quote. I absolutely love this use of the spyglass. If you have been listening to the show for a while, you would know that I love to explore the overworld. I build a lot of railroad too. My whole kingdom is connected with rail, and I build many villages. I probably build a couple cities a month. So after reading how Xenoceptor uses the spyglass to map out and survey their overworld in order to construct roads, bridges, tunnels, and for spotting villages was an eye-opener to me, to say the least. Honestly, I feel quite foolish for not thinking of using a spyglass for surveying the land before setting up my hundreds of blocks-long railroads. Thank you very much, Xenoceptor, for that heads up. You will make future expansion to my rails so much easier in the future. Thank you for that amazing comment. I had a great time reading those comments today, folks. Now that we have heard from a few of our fellow Minecraftians on how to use the spyglass, I would like to now move on to the poll results and see if that reflects some of those aforementioned sentiments. I will start with the loser of the poll this week. The choice out of the three that earned the least amount of votes is the Yes group. The Yes group had a total number of 13 votes, or 11.9% of the share. It appears that people do not use the spyglass very much. As I had mentioned earlier, the spyglass is a somewhat forgotten item in the game. While I was pondering the reasons for why it is unpopular, it occurred to me that it may be due to the fact that amethyst is just very rare in the overworld, and amethyst is an essential piece to crafting the spyglass. So perhaps that is the reasoning behind that, or that is just my personal thought on the matter. Moving on to second place in this poll, with 47 total votes, is the occasional group. I'll admit, I voted for this group. The reason why is because I have only used it for decor, and that was only recently. Also, I guess a couple times for spying on pillager outposts. I played around with it for a bit, then it was stashed away in a chest in Seatown somewhere for over a year. I believe many people are the same way as I. They craft a spyglass after they find an amethyst geode, play with it for a while, and then place it somewhere to be forgotten. Who knows, really? But the numbers don't lie. A large amount of people just use this from time to time. That leaves us with the winner of this week's poll, and that is the No group. The people who do not use the spyglass at all. And they only beat the occasional group by 2 measly votes. It was very close to being a tie. They earned a total of 49 votes, which is a good amount of votes. I'm happy to see that the occasional group almost tied with this. I'm always happy to see an item get some use, and I believe all items in the game have a purpose. Perhaps the people who do not use the spyglass are people using zooming mods. That to me makes the most sense, or they are just not aware of them. Perhaps they haven't found an amethyst room yet. There are many reasons to why one would not use the spyglass, and there is no right or wrong in choosing any of the three options in this poll. That's the beauty of Minecraft. It is great no matter how you play the game. I would like to now wrap up poll time. I love the turnout and the comments that I received in this week's poll. A big thank you to everyone who participated in it. You can participate in it as well by going to my bio.link/Realm News and click on the Realm News Reddit link provided there. I typically post a new poll every Saturday. With that said, let's transition over to the realm of the show, where I will link the real with the realm. We're going into the real of the show. I get those mixed up all the time. If you've been listening, you know me by now. I will see you in the real. Welcome to the real, my friends. I have brought you back to the Chalcolithic period, or the Copper Age, approximately between the years 3370 and 31 BCE. You all recall discussing the Chalcolithic time period covered in the episode titled Realm News on Copper and the 1.21 update. Kind of an older episode, but it's a great one. I recommend you go check that out if you haven't already after the show. It's not really required to understand this at all. It's just we cover that in much depth back in that episode. So if you're fascinated about the Copper Age or Chalcolithic period, then go back to that episode and type that in the search bar. It should pop up for you and hit play. That was a really cool one. That was really fun and fascinating. I recommend you go check it out if you haven't already. Well, you may be familiar with Chalcolithic or Copper Age already, like I said, but you're not going to be familiar with this guy unless, obviously, you've already heard of him outside the show. But we haven't discussed this fellow on the show yet. And I am speaking of I shouldn't say a living person, but a person who goes by the name Otzi the Iceman. And Otzi the Iceman is a cadaver who is nearly perfectly preserved from resting on ice for around 5,000 years until a couple hikers in the Alps stumbled upon this guy in the 90s and found him. Actually, they thought he was a pretty fresh dead body, a fresh body. But turned out this guy was 5,000 years old from the Copper Age. According to LiveScience.com article that I discovered, titled Otzi the Iceman Had Just Sharpened His Tools Days Before His Murder, by Laura Gagel, June 20th, 2018. But wait, before I go any further, I should tell you why I chose Otzi the Iceman as today's episode over bundles. Well, I scoured the internet, and honestly, the history of the bundle was not that extensive. Mojang states that the bundle was modeled over Roman coin purses, but I could sum the history of those up in about 5 minutes. Not much history behind those, at least not extensive enough for me to make a real segment for today's episode. However, Otzi is not too irrelevant to the bundle topic. He is in fact responsible for the world's oldest bundle or pouch. That is the reason why I chose him for today. Every time I typed in medieval bundles, bindles, sacks, purses, trunks, etc., I only found small articles that did not have much to say. But every time I put in bundle in the search engine, one thing did pop up consistently, and that was Otzi the Iceman, because they found a bundle on him and many other belongings that I would like to share with you today. In the overworld, we carry many items with us at all times. Now, we have the bundle to help us tidy up that inventory space a bit more. Well, I got to thinking, and I thought it would be interesting to examine what the oldest European mummy in history was carrying on him. Let's find out by going further into this LifeScience.com article. They first state that Otzi was more than likely right-handed, if that matters. But they theorize this due to the markings on his tools and weapons. The scratch marks are made in a way that a right-handed person would make. Before elaborating on his tools, it may be worth mentioning that Otzi was murdered. Yes, You heard that right. He was killed. Our friend that I just introduced you to was killed. They know this due to the sustained head injury and from the arrowhead that is still lodged in his left shoulder. This arrow, or I should say arrowhead, is said to have punctured an artery that led to Otzi's death. He more than likely bled out in a few minutes. The head injury was probably sustained from the murder or murderers, or from falling and hitting his head from that arrow making contact with his back and injuring him. That may have led to him falling and then hitting his head on something, a rock, presumably. They have determined that he was killed because they can tell that he was resting and he just finished eating a protein-rich meal that consisted of ibex, which was an animal that was hunted back then. The Iceman was also cut on his right hand from about 1.5 days to 2 days prior to his death. They believe that he got into an altercation in the valley below before entering the mountain. They go on to say that he probably received that wound in defense from an attack, but he ultimately won that fight. His opponent from the valley must have stalked Otzi and waited for the perfect moment to make their shot. They fired from a distance of around 100 feet or 30.5 meters at his back. He would have never seen it coming, and they left all of his belongings there with him. So it wasn't theft at all, but more than likely a revenge kill. Now that we know how he died, let's see what he was carrying. He left behind many artifacts that scientists have been researching since the discovery of the Iceman. I found a great website, iceman.it, that has all of his items displayed in beautiful photographs online. He had many tools and weapons that are familiar to us in the overworld. Let's go over some of these tools. Since he was from the Chalcolithic period, it makes sense that a copper axe would be found on him. And this axe was all copper. After they examined it, they concluded that it was 99.7% copper, which is extremely pure. They also discovered that this copper did not come from the Alp region of Italy, but instead from central Italy. This may have been the Copper Age, but having a copper axe was not only a functional tool and or a weapon, it was a status symbol. This may indicate that Otzi was a tribal leader or someone of significance. And perhaps the murderer did not take the copper axe because it would raise too much suspicion. Someone nearby would ask, "Hey, Copper Age Joe, where'd you find this new awesome copper axe?" And he wouldn't know how to explain that. It would just look rather irregular. So maybe they just left it along with all of his other belongings and gear. This axe is simply too remarkable to look at. You just go check it out, this website. These tools and weapons are amazing. Go look at it after you get done listening to this episode. The copper blade that forms the axe head is trapezoidal in shape and was cast in a mold. This axe is the only one of its kind in the world, and it has shed much insight into how people lived during the Chalcolithic period. It's truly amazing to see how they've been able to restore these tools. However, these tools were already in pristine condition, such as Otzi himself. Another item found on Otzi that will resonate with you, the Minecraftian, is that he had a bow with him, one that was crafted by him. It was nearly finished and just needed to be polished and a string added to it before it was just completely done. And it turns out that he had the string in his quiver. He must have just got around to attaching it to, he was probably just about to get to attaching it to his stave, which the stave is the incomplete part, the wooden part, to the bow. So I'm guessing he just had it stored in his quiver. I don't know. Also, along with the bowstring in the quiver, they found 12 arrow shafts made of dogwood and the wayfaring tree. Also, 2 finished arrows with flint arrowheads were found in there, along with 4 deer antler tips that they think could have been used for skinning hide. He also had another weapon, a worn-down flint dagger. This flint dagger also had a sheath that belonged to it, but the sheath is much larger than the flint dagger itself. The dagger part is only a little bigger than an arrowhead. Its grip is made of ash wood. Another item that was found with his corpse was a retoucher, which was used to touch up his tools. It was literally used to sharpen tools and to do fine work on flint tools, such as on arrowheads and that dagger I just mentioned. This retoucher is the only one of its kind ever found in the world. Otzi also had 2 birch bark cups with him that were made from one singular piece of birch bark for each cup and stitched together with a lime tree bast. Supposedly, he would use these cups to put in green leaves in there and put hot embers in that. It wouldn't set anything on fire. It'd just keep the embers hot. And these embers would stay hot for hours, smoldering. And he could easily dump them out wherever he ended up at and spark a fire wherever on his travels. And he would be able to just have a fire there. He also had a bird belt with him. This bird belt was a round dolomite stone with a hole in the center. Going through this hole in the dolomite is several strings composed of thin leather strips. These strips were used to hang birds from them after they were killed. It was a way of transporting game. I thought it was a very clever way of transporting game, if you ask me. Another piece of equipment that he had on him was birch fungus. This was more than likely used as medicine or perhaps for therapy, because this fungus does actually have antibiotic properties to it. Along with these tools and weapons that Otzi carried, he also had on clothes. He was not roaming the Alps naked. He was fully dressed for this frigid environment. It should be no shock that Otzi's clothes were rather ragged from the thousands of years of being exposed to the elements and frozen in ice, occasionally thawed out and then refrozen over the millennia. They were able to recover his clothes and restore them with great care. The Romano-Germanic Central Museum, located in Mainz, Germany, was responsible for this restoration. Otzi was wearing a goat and sheep hide coat that hung down to his knees. It is theorized that it was closed together with one of the belts that was found on him. The sleeves of the coat had rotted away with time, so we don't know how those appeared exactly. Besides the coat, the archaeologists had found what they initially thought was a grass cape, but after further research, they now believe that it was more than likely a grass mat that was used for shielding himself against the rain or other outside elements. Perhaps it had been part of his backpack. They did find the remaining framework to a backpack, so it is possible. Now moving on, Otzi even had underwear made of sheep hide and shoes that were made of a net. He stuffed grass in between the net and the foot. The exterior of the shoe was made from deer hide. Experimental archaeologists tested out these Copper Age boots by recreating them and then wearing them. The researchers said that they did a great job at keeping their feet warm, and they were reasonably comfortable, but I guess they were not the most waterproof. They think he just changed out the grass whenever it got too soaked. To top it all off, he also wore a bearskin cap that covered his head. But the item that made me talk about Otzi to begin with was his belt that had a pouch sewn onto it. I saw a random article online referring to this pouch as a bundle, which is why I chose Otzi as today's real subject, because this is the oldest bundle or pouch to be discovered on Earth. This belt was made of calf skin. So was the pouch that was sewn into the belt. And just as we use bundles to store important items in Minecraft, so did Otzi in his pouch. The items that were found inside of it were tinder fungus to help light a fire, a scraper. You may remember what that is from the Cobblestone and Stone Age episode. A scraper is a device used to separate animal hides from the fat and other parts of an animal carcass. He also had a boring tool for making holes and a bone awl, which is used for punching holes in hides, kind of like a sewing needle. And he had a flint flake in there as well. I find it very interesting to find that a couple of hikers found this Chalcolithic corpse back in the 90s. I am sorry that Otzi was murdered, but I enjoy how well preserved he was. It just gave us a lot of insight to how people lived during this time period. Archaeologists do not have much hard evidence for this Chalcolithic period, so they're very grateful to have this well-preserved body. I hope you all enjoyed hearing about our new friend Otzi and the tools and weapons he possessed. This is now Realm News' second mummy that has been used in the reel of the show. The first one was the Tolan Man, if you remember. That was used as a link to the Minecraft Bogged in our episode Over the Bogged. Now, we welcome Otzi to the mix. With that said, I would like to conclude the reel and make our transition into the realm, where I will tell you all what you need to know about bundles and my personal experience with them. My friends, I would like to welcome you to the realm, where we will be discussing the much anticipated and somewhat debatable bundle. I say debatable because some people are very critical towards them. I would like to start the realm off by going over the drawn-out history of the Minecraft bundle. The history of it, well, is in fact the source of the criticism that it receives, or one of the main sources that fuels critics. The bundle was first mentioned years ago. If you are brand new to bundles, then you may be unaware of their history. They were first exposed to the world on October 3rd, 2020. Minecraft.wiki provides a YouTube link showing the 2020 live event. I watched it, and it was really interesting to see Agnes Larson and Nir Vaknin, or Oraf, introduce us to them. It was the exact same concept as we know it today, but I am happy that they improved upon them. Because in the Minecraft Live over 4 years ago, the bundle display box of the inventory that was inside of the bundle was just confusing. It was such chaos, just chaos in a bag. Objects scattered all around. It wouldn't say, for example, the numerical, like if you hovered your cursor over the item in the bundle, it wouldn't just show, it doesn't just show 10 iron ingots if you had 10 iron ingots in there. Instead, it would show 10 mini iron ingots scattered around the display box whenever you would click on the bundle to see what was inside it, along with whatever other items were inside that bundle. You would have to count them out manually. There wouldn't be a number there alongside the item. You would see 10 many of them. You'd have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. It wasn't the easiest way to glance at your inventory in the bundle. I would just say that. Now, let's fast forward a little over a year after the 2020 live event where they announced that bundles would be coming to the overworld. It's October 16th, 2021, and the Minecraft community is about to get some heartbreaking news from one of the people who announced that bundles were arriving in the first place, Nir Oraf Vaknin, in a Twitch interview discussing the Caves and Cliffs update Part 2. He said in a clip found at CubanFan135's Twitch profile that they would not be part of this update. Instead, the community would have to wait another month until November 17th arrived, along with a new announcement from Mojang themselves, when they posted an article on Minecraft.net announcing Cave and Cliffs Part 2, published by Sophia Dankis on November 17th, 2021. This article recapped Part 1 Caves and Cliffs updates, such as the amethyst, copper blocks, and goats that were added into the game, along with much, much more. However, they address in this article's conclusion that several things were not coming out in Part 2, such as goat horns, archaeology, and guess what? Bundles. We would have to wait many years later until we got bundles, until October 22nd, 2024 of this year, when Mojang finally released bundles of Bravery along with Hardcore Mode to Bedrock and Realms. We finally got the bundle after that many years of anticipation and waiting. Along with bundle releasing officially in the game, it also marked the official end of the Caves and Cliffs Part 2 update. It only took 4 years and 19 days for it to conclude. Was it worth the wait? Many people say no. I have seen many comments online saying that this should not have taken this long to have been implemented into Minecraft. Other sentiments suggest that this is not that amazing of an addition to the game for something that took 4 years to create. Personally, I am thrilled to have the bundle, and I have no qualms nor complaints about the bundle. However, I was just absent from the game when they were initially announced and did not have that anticipation building up for 4 years. They are now here, and I believe that the bundle has brought a huge relief to the game's inventory problem. I would like to now move on to how the bundle functions. But first, let's talk about how to craft a bundle. It's super easy to do. It just takes one piece of leather and one string. This will yield you one bundle. And the best part is, you don't even need a crafting table to craft a bundle. You can do this with your bare hands on the fly, which just makes it that much more practical. You can then go ahead and dye your bundle one of the 16 classic Minecraft colors. They created the bundle to be easily craftable. Initially, the bundle was meant to be crafted by using 4 rabbit hides and a string. They changed this to make it even more affordable to the player. Their goal was to make it accessible to anyone who opens up a world. You can make this as your first item if you so desire when you first enter the world. I would like to say that I was in favor of them being crafted with rabbit hide. I wanted the rabbit to have more use and more of a reason to go into those harsher biomes where rabbits are more likely to be seen. Michael TBH made a good point though, in that we should be able to do that with leather and rabbit hides. But I guess you could always turn 4 rabbit hides into 1 leather and use that to craft a bundle. It makes a lot of sense why they had it crafted this way. I'm not complaining. When you enter a new overworld or even an overworld that you have been playing for years in, you easily collect a lot of random items by naturally walking around. And the developers are constantly adding more and more items to this digital world. So, as you know already or can imagine, it is easy to fill up all of your inventory slots quickly. And I took count. On my tablet where I play Bedrock Edition, I counted that we have 9 on-hand inventory slots in front of us at all times, and 27 offhand slots, not including the 5 slots used for armor. I asked the internet how many items the game of Minecraft contains, and the AI overlord thought for 1 picosecond before spitting out an answer. I checked the AI overlord's reference that it provided for accuracy, and this is what I found. As of Minecraft version 1.20, there were around 1,643 items in Minecraft. Here's the direct quote according to Minecraft.wiki. Quote, "An item is an object that exists only within a player's inventory and hands, or displayed in item frames, glowing item frames, or armor stands. As of 1.20, there are a total of 1,643 items in the game." End quote. I couldn't find one as of 1.21. Sorry. It just wasn't popping up for some reason. But 1,643 items in the game, that's crazy. You can imagine that it's quite easy to fill up every inventory slot. And fast. Many items that you find and craft can stack up to a max of 64 items, such as sand or cobblestone blocks as a couple examples. You can place 64 sand in 1 inventory slot before it's completely maxed out full. Other items such as eggs go by different stack rules. Eggs, snowballs, and honey bottles stack to 16 before filling an inventory slot. Some items don't stack at all, such as swords and shovels. These type of items will take up an entire inventory slot by themselves. These same mechanics apply to the bundle. Each bundle will take up 1 of your inventory slots, and each bundle can contain the same amount as 1 inventory slot, which is a 64 items max. So think of the bundle as an advanced inventory slot or an upgraded inventory slot. It maxes out when 64 items are contained within it. But the beauty of it is that it can hold a whole assortment of random items. Allow me to tell you what items are in my 3 bundles that I carry around on hand. I have 3 bundles, each of a different color. One red, one blue, and another purple. The blue one is maxed out and shows that it is maxed out when the inventory meter bar turns red. If there was still space in it, then it would be the color blue. Allow me to tell you what I keep in this blue bundle. I have 20 pieces of leather, 12 string, 12 arrows, 9 bones, and 11 blocks of wool. That is all in one bundle. I could make another 12 bundles with the contents that are in just that one bundle. Next, onto my purple bundle. I have stored in there 12 gunpowder, because you never know when you need to make an explosive device. I have 4 pieces of charcoal for making additional torches for cooking fuel, 1 cooked mutton just in case I run out of meat, 5 emeralds for trading with new villages I encounter in my travels across the realm, 4 signposts for marking new routes or naming new buildings and towns, and 2 pressure plates just in case. And in the red bundle, which has my least amount of items in it, it has another bundle in it. Yes, I forgot to tell you that you could put bundles in bundles. It's called nesting. When a bundle is placed inside another bundle, I believe up to 16 bundles could be nested into one bundle. The other items in my bundle are 2 different doors, an iron door and an oak door. Then there's a leash, 6 lapis lazuli, and 4 raw mutton for emergencies. I would say that this is about a quarter full, this bundle, and I have a lot more that I can place inside this. In total, between all 3 of the bundles that I've just listed, they are holding in total 17 unique items and has opened up inventory slots which allow me to now carry crucial items that I couldn't have carried before, such as a flint and steel, buckets, a bow, shears, crossbow, and a full stack of arrows. These are items that I carry now because I have all this extra space. The bundles have been amazing for when it comes to trekking long distances across the overworld. It gives me new assurance and confidence when it comes to survival. I think the bundle is a new friend to any Minecraft survivalist. I have recently used the bundle to help me go on a long expedition by foot. I found a wolf and tamed it. I made it my official companion on a new type of voyage I wanted to take, one strictly by foot and boat. I had traveled a long ways and built, I believe, 4 new outposts. I found a new, beautiful land that I want to colonize. It has the most majestic mountains with abundant resources nearby. Trees galore with flat ground around the base of the 2 opposing mountains. My wolf and I explored for a long time, all thanks to the bundles that allowed me to store iron for weapons and tools. I stored extra food, wood, wool, and other essentials that allowed us to thrive in the middle of nowhere. But that all abruptly ended one day after we both woke up with the rising sun. We left the newest hillside shelter and started to make our way up the coast in a new land. Suddenly, I caught something green in my peripheral vision. I didn't even hear a sound until the explosion of a creeper went off and I was smoked. The camera panned out of where the explosion occurred. The scene showed the remains of all of my items I was carrying, plus my dog, which was left wondering what happened to me, its owner. And since I had broke my bed that morning, after waking up in that temporary structure before dying, I spawned right back to my point of genesis in my world. So I made some new bundles, new armor, gathered up some supplies, and I am back out on foot looking for that distant foreign land that I perished in, trying to find my wolf that I had left behind. But with the aid of my bundles, I feel confident in traveling the overworld. I am a huge fan of the bundle, and I have no complaints. It has helped me condense down the loot that I have in my chest, and they have also been beneficial to my banks. However, I still need to get a color code system down for them. That is still something that I am working out. If you would like to hear more on bundles, then I recommend going to the episode titled An Exclusive Interview with Michael TBH. There, we discuss many topics and bundles is one of them. In fact, let me play you a 1-minute clip from that episode. What are your thoughts on bundles? Are you impressed with them, or what do you think, Michael?
I am. I think the fact that they landed on Bedrock Edition is impressive in of itself because it took them so long to get it on. And that was the thing. I'm not trying to like slate Bedrock Edition. I play Bedrock Edition, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But it took them so long, and they could have just added it to Java and called it another day. But adding it to both took them 4 years, you know?
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, Case and Cliff's Part 5 is now finished. And it's like, bro, I think bundles are great. I think the fact we can dye them is even better. Like the customizable like aspect of bundles is what makes them really good because you can do so much of them, especially in like multiplayer worlds. Um, I really like the fact that they're in the game.
It's always great to hear from Michael TBH and to get his insight on such things like bundles. As I said, go check out that episode if you missed it to hear us talk more in depth on that subject. I hope that you all enjoy the bundle and that this episode helped you prepare to use them. They are a very effective tool to have with you while exploring the overworld. I know that I will recommend the bundle to anyone who is new to Minecraft. With that said, that is all the time I have on the bundle for this week, folks. The bundle is a fascinating device that has been used by humankind for an unknown amount of time. The oldest one that we know of is the bundle or pouch that is sewn onto Otzi the Iceman's belt. It contained flint, tinder, and other essential items that helped keep him alive during the Copper Age, just as we use bundles for survival in Minecraft. New players to veterans alike now have the ability to craft bundles with ease. You don't even need a crafting table. The developers in this past September's Minecraft Live event said it would free up an additional 8 slots of inventory space. I do not think they were kidding when they said that. In fact, I probably have more than that available now, thanks to the bundle. I hope that you all get great use out of using the bundle and have fun dyeing them your favorite colors. I would love to know what your use is of these bundles. Gift giving, traveling the overworld, organizing chests. Let me know at my bio.link/realm news at any one of the links provided there. I wish you all a great rest of your day and week, and happy crafting. The Dark Lord, signing out. Hello, Realm News fans. I just wanted to pop back in here and just tell you all how much I appreciate you for listening to the show. It means the world to me that you tune in every week to hear me, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in realm and expands your mind one block at a time. I am honored to be your host and to be able to deliver to you weekly original Minecraft content, with Realm News Flash and Realm News on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you enjoyed the show, I would love it if you would tell your friends about it and tell them to follow the show. Hit that like button and leave a comment. I know that on Spotify you can leave comments on individual episodes, same on Good Pods. I'm not sure on all the other podcast player platforms out there, but I appreciate the feedback, so please comment if you are able to. If you cannot comment wherever you listen to Realm News, then you can by following Realm News at either its Twitter, now X, Blue Sky, Reddit, or email, which is all found at bio.link/realm news, which is all lowercase. Again, that is bio.link/realm news. There you can also make a monetary donation by clicking on the Ko-Fi link. I put in about 30 hours a week in research, writing, editing, marketing, recording, social media, and much more in creating and keeping this show running. The donations would help me eventually give up my second job so I can focus more on this podcast and deliver more content with better quality to you. I understand times are tough, and I do not expect anyone to give me money. I'm just saying that if you are able to, it's much appreciated. However, you can show your appreciation by just listening, liking, following, or recommending the show as I said earlier. That means much more than you would ever know. With that said, I wish you all happy crafting, and I look forward to talking to you at the next Realm News episode. The Dark Lord signing out.